Hello everyone, my name is Tan Chan Hong. The movie Frankie and Alice shows a psychological drama that relates the real-life story of Frankie Murdoch, a troubled young woman suffering from multiple personality disorder in Los Angeles. The illness, what we call, is dissociative identity disorder (DID). She has three personalities, which are Frankie, a strong and intelligent go-go dancer, genius with high IQ, and last one is Alice, a southern racist woman. Dr. Orzis went all out to find the source of the problem, and it is a detective game that made him hunt for prey during the childhood in Georgia. The epic moment comes as the screen shows a flashback of Frankie's giving birth in a motel as the mother taking a crying baby, smoothes it and wraps it up for the garbage. Trauma of this nature make it evident that many people could be candidates for mental health issues beyond their kids, taking one in fateful directions. There are some main characters in this movie. The first one is Frankie. She was able to socialize with other patients in institution, very smart in terms of occupation. The second one is genius, very timid and scared. She has very high IQ. The third one is Alice. She is very rigid. Dr. Joseph, that we call Dr. Ozzy, really had advocate Frankie with his situation. Anna Murdoch, Frankie's mom, shows Frankie a lot of support and love, and she get rid of Frankie's baby. Nasir Murdoch, Frankie's sister, tries to be mom backbones and voice to work his.
Good day to sir and friend. My name is Li Peng. Number metric is 269950. I'm going to talk about the personality disrupted display in the film and the diagnosis and symptoms shown in the film. In the film, Frankie pros three different personalities, that is Frankie, Genius, and Alice. Frankie is a strong, independent dancer, trying to survive in the world. Next is Genius. She is 7 years old girl with an IQ of 1056. Last is Ellie. She is the violently racing white woman. Next, in the film, doctor can diagnose Frankie have personality disrupted by using physical exam and physically evaluation. The symptom of a personality disrupted shown in the film is indifferent, inappropriate of suspicious response to other, social anxiety, and lack of discomfortable relationship, impulsive behavior, aggressive, arrogant, rigid, and stubborn. Thank you. I will pass to next presenter.
A very good day, I greet to sir and my fellow friends. My name is Yong Jie and my matrix number is 269929. Next, I will present on factors that cause dissociative identity disorder occur in Frankie and Alice film. Through the film, one of the factors that has been identified is spread out and eventually switching personality when triggered. For example, Frankie decided to bring her manager home with the intention of having sex with him, but when they reached her apartment, she heard a strange sound which triggered her into switching another identities. She has become Alice, the racist southern woman. Thus, when Alice sees African American man trying to rape her in an apartment, she tried to define herself and fight him off from her. Next, another factor will be triggered by traumatic experience in early childhood. When Frankie was 15, she was a maid to her best friend's family, and she was in love with her best friend's brother, which is Peter. They were so in love until they decided to run away together. Sadly, they did not make it very far before they were in a tragic car accident where Peter had lost his life. Because Peter has died, Frankie decided to keep the baby full term and proceed with the pregnancy, but unfortunately her mother forcefully take the baby away and give it to another family. Thank you. Next, I will pass this presentation to Li Kim Tai to continue his presentation.
Good day to doctor. My name is Li Kim Tai with the matrix number of 270154. Today I will be going to talk about the theories of personality in the movie of Frankie and Alice in the year of 2010. The theories that relate to the most with the main character in this movie would be the Freud theory. Frankie, the main character, faced at least 2 types of traumatic incidents that caused her personality split into fractured states while one of the incidents caused that of her boyfriend in accidents, and her infants were being killed by her mother after she gave birth. Besides, Frankie also always lied to her mother that she is currently pursuing a courses in the college, but the reality is actually she worked as a go-go dancer, and Frankie always hoped to escape the reality of roles in becoming as a stripper, while her inner thoughts choose to remain in fantasy diversion as a college student. It clearly shown that the ideal personality which focused on the pleasure principle by ensuring it fulfilled with a satisfactory expectation regardless of any consequences. Secondly, the superego personality. With a multiple personality that displaying by Frankie has shown, Frankie imagined herself as a prestigious of white woman, at least in her imaginary picture of how she ought to be and the ideal type of member of society. In this story, it's shown different kind of theories of personality that displayed by Frankie, which are ID and superego personality as well. With the high anxiety that faced by her, Frankie chose to protect herself with dissociative identity disorder, which is actually DID in short, as a defense mechanism in protecting her true self.
Good day, doctor and friends. I'm Li Pei Chee with metric number 261878. I will continue our presentation about aspect of care in dealing with personality disorder featured in film Frankie and Alice. Frankie begins psychiatric therapy with Dr. Oz to deal with the personality disorder she faced. During the therapy season, Frankie learns that she has two personalities, namely Genius, a 7-year-old child, and Alice, a racist southern white woman who is difficult for Frankie to deal with. Frankie starts the healing process, taking control of her life and uniting the personality guaranteed by Dr. Oz, that she will always to be present. She has always struggled with a condition to some degree of her whole life, because it is part of who is she, but she has learned how to deal with it. The final message is positive, uplifting, and part of it is when we can embrace recovery so hot as this. Next, suggested intervention to help individuals with personality disorder include of avoiding extreme fatigue. A person needs to reduce the level of employment and learning to an appropriate level. Individuals are advised not to think too much about historical things that have happened and unable to make any changes. In general, patients with dual personalities are more likely to be aroused. Individuals are advised to be more aware of their own position. Double personalities have the possibility to fully recover after undergoing through psychological treatment. That's all from me. Thanks.
My name is Tang Shi Hui, metric number 271540, and I'm going to talk about the conclusion. From our perspective, we believe the movie related to the topic covered and discussed was Frost's theory, which consists of ID, ego, and superego, and he defined that each part of the personality plays a crucial role to an individual behavior. Through flashback and reading throughout the film, we learn about how this event affected Frankie as she learns about them or remembers them under hypnosis. As she began to understand herself, so do we. We see how her childhood and her relationship with her family play into her trauma. We see how race affected her trauma. We see how her early friendship and first love caused her pain. I decided to analyze this movie in particular because it was based on a true story and unlike other movies, it did not have such a happy story to tell. Unlike most psychological movies, we see the good and the bad of the life of a DID individual. The movie gave me a chance to see how a mental illness could damage an individual's life. As for Frankie, the mental disorder affected her professional and personal life. I really enjoyed the movie and how it kept the viewer engaged with Frankie and her life. The movie was filled with twists and turns that make you feel sympathy for Frankie and her troubled situation. She had no family, no children, no significant other to hold her hand through her illness and recovery. Only her therapist. The movie teaches us independence and that anyone can overcome illness. As you can see, she faced high anxiety. Frankie chose to protect herself with dissociative identity disorder, which is DID, as her defense mechanism in protecting her true self. That's all from me. Thank you.